We'll see you then. I'm Hallie Jackson. For all of us here at NBC, thanks for watching and have a great week.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving it.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
The Big Beautiful Bill has been signed into law over the weekend after a months-long uphill battle in Congress, but the full implications for Guam are still unclear. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with a report coming up.
It was supposed to be temporary, but critics say it's a burden that's holding Guam's businesses back. I'm Nevaeh Anderson with lawmakers revisiting the push to reduce the business privilege tax.
And they survived the unthinkable. We carry their legacy. They are the island's greatest generation. I'm Jonagan Charfus, and coming up tonight, I kick off our weekly series, Ponogi.
Half a day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas. These are tonight's top stories. Well, after a months-long battle in Congress, President Donald Trump has signed his One Big Beautiful Bill, and he did so over the weekend, meeting his self-imposed 4th of July deadline. And locally, island leaders are sifting through the nearly 900-page multi-trillion-dollar spending and tax legislation and what its full implications may be for Guam. It's tonight's top story with Mitsuki Hirayama.
With B-2 bombers flying overhead and cabinet members cheering at the White House, the president officially signed the, quote, Big Beautiful Bill Act into law on Independence Day.
The golden age of America is upon us. We are in the golden age. It's going to be a period of time, the likes of which I don't think this country has ever experienced before.
The sweeping domestic policy bill funds key priorities of Trump's agenda, from tax cuts, defense and border security, while putting restrictions on social safety nets. But it's unclear what the full impacts will be for Guam, according to Acting Governor Josh Tenorio.
Despite the congressman giving us assurances about Medicaid, of course, we are very concerned. And so, our teams are working, working with the other territories to try and come up with a comprehensive understanding about how these things are going to play out for the community.
Policy experts at Adelup are analyzing the nearly 900-page legislation, which includes hundreds of provisions. The delegate's office is also working with the Congressional Research Service to prepare a comprehensive, in-depth report that includes taking a closer look at the tax breaks as Guam mirrors the federal income tax code.
Positive impacts I've heard the president talk about have to do with less taxes for Social Security earnings. Of course, no taxes on tips up to certain levels. Those are things that I would say are positive, but of course have an underlying impact to the general fund revenues and making sure we have adequate revenues for the government to provide basic services.
Tenorio adds he's worried about government entitlement programs such as food and housing assistance.
In fact, the entire public school is on free lunch, right? So we do have a large number of people that are living at the margins or under the poverty line and wanting to make sure that the programs that are there to make that guarantee their nourishment and shelter are going to be there.
Meantime, the Congressional Budget Office says the bill will add trillions to the national debt, an estimate Republicans have denied. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
To business headlines now, the push to roll back the island's business privilege tax from 5% to 4% continues to gain traction downtown, with supporters saying it's time to give taxpayers relief, but others warn the cost to public services could be steep, as Nevaeh Anderson explains in this next story.
Resuming public hearings on Bill 11, Senator Sean Gumatao says the issue is more straightforward than some are making it out to be.
Because instead of spending more taxpayer money, Bill 11 seeks to return an estimated $80 to $85 million to taxpayers so that they can decide how to best spend what was their money to begin with.
Gumatao argues small and mid-sized businesses could use the savings to raise wages, hire more employees, and reinvest.
It prioritizes entrepreneurship by supporting the very people who have sacrificed so much by believing and investing in Guam.
President of Century 21 Realty, Christopher Felix, says the burden has shifted unfairly onto business owners who are already cutting back just to stay open.
When I can't survive, I got to cut. I got to cancel some of my trips. I got to cut back on my salaries. I got to freeze my salaries. I've got to do things to keep things going in my company. I haven't heard anything from the government about, gee, if we go to 4, we're going to have to cut we're going to have to freeze our salaries, no hiring, things like that. I mean, nothing, I haven't heard anything coming out of that nature. And it just doesn't seem right that the government just is saying, well, we need it from the business. We need that 1%. We got to have it.
Monty McDowell, Government Affairs Chair for the Guam Association of Realtors, says it's time the government honors its word and its people.
It was a difficult but necessary decision at the time, made under the premise that it would sunset once fiscal stability returned. And yet, years have passed. The temporary increase became a permanent burden.
Stephen Guerrero, Director of the Office of Finance and Budget, breaking down the numbers, saying a 1% cut from the fiscal year 2026 general fund would mean a $72 million loss, bringing the fund from $906 million to $834 million.
If it does go into effect, the challenge now is where do we get, or where do we identify $72 million in the government of Guam? The only thing I can see at this point, it would be very difficult to implement that this time in the fiscal year simply because we're already into the fiscal year 9 months.
The hearing continues, and so does the debate over how to balance tax relief with government responsibility. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
And with the hearing ongoing, Nevaeh will be back with a full breakdown tomorrow night on the show. Well, in other news tonight, a former Guam delegate to Congress and one-time gubernatorial candidate is back in the spotlight, and for all the wrong reasons. Michael St. Nicholas was arrested early Monday morning for driving while impaired and reckless driving after his vehicle was found on its side near Santos Hill and Gun Beach Road. Police say the crash happened just before 2:30 a.m. with St. Nicholas crawling out of the overturned Prius and refusing treatment at first. He later admitted to drinking at the Shamrocks establishment in Route 66 and said that he was distracted by his phone just before the crash. Officers reported that his eyes were bloodshot, he had alcohol in his breath, and they noted poor performance on field sobriety tests, including a failure to balance and involuntary eye movement. He refused to sign the Guam Police Department implied consent form and declined to acknowledge his Miranda rights. When he later complained of back pain, medics transported him to GRMC up in Dededo, with the investigation remaining ongoing. It's time for a quick break, but please stay tuned. KUAM continues right after this.
Sometimes parenting can be hard. What should I be doing? The Guam Early Learning Council includes partners who can provide you with early childhood services and supports. We are here to assist. For resources and information, simply call 311 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding holidays. Early connection can change everything.
Win one championship, you're celebrated. Win twice, they call you a hero. 3 times, they say words like legend and dynasty. 4, 5, 6 titles, they'll say enough is enough. But when you've won it all 7 times, what's left to say? The trophy speaks for itself. Introducing the full lineup of Ram trucks. Ram, 7-time winner of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Anything's possible.
College is possible. Retirement is possible. Adventure is possible. And so is saving for it all with our Bank Ohana Savings Special. Earn an interest rate of 3.55% for the first 90 days when you deposit $25,000 from another bank into a Bank Ohana Bonus Rate Savings Plus account. Requires a Bank Ohana checking account with an opening deposit of $500. So make your savings goals possible.
Anything's possible.
Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii.
Super speed your life with Docomo Pacific Fiber Internet. Get symmetrical upload and download speeds up to 5 gigs. Get started with Fiber 500 at $145 a month, Fiber 1 gig at $215 a month, or Fiber 5 gig at $299 a month. Plus, get 2 SuperPod 6Es with any plan, and a free EcoFlow River 3 and bonus welcome kit with 1 gig and 5 gig plans. Experience tomorrow's islands today with Docomo Pacific Fiber Internet.
Fanogi Chamorro, commemorating Guam's 81st liberation, is brought to you by Shell and IP&E. Go well, go Shell. Foodies, eat, drink, happy. And Pacific Points, do more, get more.
Well, before parades, before the fireworks, and before our island celebrates 81 years of freedom, Guam still stands to remember. The first step in our liberation journey begins with a solemn tribute to the people who endured the unimaginable. War Survivor Remembrance Day marks not just a chapter in our island's rich history, but the soul of our survival. And in this special series that we are calling Fanogi, which in native Chamorro means stand, we begin with the day that honors the strength of our people. Joe Nogan first has this special series.
June 28th is more than a date on the calendar. It's Guam War Survivors Remembrance Day, a time carved out to honor those who endured one of the darkest chapters in our island's history, and those who never made it through. Speaker Frank Bloss Jr. explains the significance of the day.
President Harry Truman presented to Congress that there was a people that had suffered the atrocities and suffered the occupation and the horrors of a war that no other population in the United States has ever experienced, and to this day has never ever experienced.
From 1941 to 1944, the people of Guam lived under brutal occupation, endured forced labor, starvation, and unspeakable violence. Thousands of Chamorros suffered through this era with dignity and with faith. War Survivor Remembrance Day is more than a commemoration. It is a call to action. It is a reminder that history must be remembered, survivors must be honored, and their stories must be passed on to future generations.
Today reminds us that 81 years ago, our people just wanted to be saved.
And saved they were, but not without cost. At the Hagatna Cathedral, war survivors, families, and dignitaries gathered for a memorial mass. Then they walked across together to the Wall of Strength, names never forgotten. 15,891 names of courageous Chamorros printed on a board and seared into our island's soul. On Sunday morning, remembrance continued in the south at the Menangin Memorial in Zutman. More than 24 survivors stood as living proof of Guam's resilience. Their march echoed the footsteps of thousands forced into this valley 81 years ago, a place of suffering, now a sanctuary of honor. And as the number of living survivors continues to decline, it becomes our generational duty to be the keepers of their stories. Senator Chris Barnett.
For the younger generation, every year we're seeing less and less war survivors, and so if you want to know what our Maromco and our Sinus went through during the war, please ask them and listen to their stories and just try and understand the sacrifices made during the Japanese occupation, the lives lost.
Because as the number of living survivors dwindles, the responsibility grows. This is not just a day of remembrance. Again, it's a call to action.
Next time you watch the news about wars elsewhere and see the devastations that they're experiencing elsewhere, look down below your feet. What you're watching on TV occurred here. The death and the suffering that you're seeing occurred here. Occurred right below your feet.
We must not forget what happened on this island, not just because it was horrific, but because it showed us who we are. A people who bent but did not break, who suffered but still believed.
And we should never forget that. We should never forget that we survived that. Okay? And it's for the people that survived. It's for their strength and their resilience, their faith in God, their faith in community that got them through. Don't forget that.
And as long as their stories are told in our homes, in our classrooms, and in our coverage like this, they will never be forgotten. Speaker Bloss reaffirmed the legislature's commitment to preserving the voices of our war survivors. And through this Fanogi series, we remain committed to doing our part to stand for their memory and to carry their legacy forward.
Fanogi Tamoru, commemorating Guam's 81st liberation, is brought to you by Shell and IP&E. Go well, go Shell. Foodies, eat, drink, happy. And Pacific Points, do more, get more.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. Make sure to check out the full series on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/KUAM News.
Now for a look at your world at home.
And here's a beautiful sunset view from our capital village in Hagåtña Bay.
Congratulations to both of you as you embark on your new journey with us. And welcome to the Bank of Guam Familia. Go get him.
Good morning, Kara.
Good night, Kara.
You're doing great.
Half a day. I'm Kara, your virtual banker.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place. This crispy chicken is from a taco place? Hey, this crispy chicken's from Taco Bell? The taco place? This chicken is so perfectly crispy with tortilla chip coating. It's from a taco place.
Surprise!
What? It comes in a burrito too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Being stationed on Guam, there is much to do on the beautiful island. But before you pack, sanitize any household items and leave any organic materials behind to prevent the introduction of invasive species. If it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
New training location confirmed. The Mariana Islands. Before and after training, you will identify and sanitize your tactical gear to prevent the spread of invasive species. If it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby! Mosley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
GU Self Storage, located in Harmon next to McDonald's, offers a variety of storage units. With rates starting as low as $95 per month, we offer complimentary use of dollies, push carts, Plines hand trucks, and pallet jack, with a fully covered loading and unloading areas and ADA accessible units. We offer 24-hour CCTV surveillance monitoring, alarm, and individual pin-coded gate and door access, because your safety is our priority. Weakest best in 2024. Call 671-648-7867 today.
Bye. I wish they could move back home.
Should we build on a honeymoon? Yes. Yes!
First Hawaiian Bank knows that family comes first. That's why our bankers work with you to make your what-ifs a reality. Personalized service and digital tools, all under one roof when you bank on the best. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
Can somebody please help me judge this chicken?
Juicy, seasoned.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the hair.
Now, who you think made this?
I don't know who cooked it, but they know how to cook.
Boom! Oh, McDonald's! Yes!
Are you serious? You don't like Mickey D's? Okay.
Guess what? I got something special for y'all. Double dip!
Cause that noise means people who love McCrispy strips.
How you feeling now? Yeah.
Caught in 4K.
McCrispy strips, man, from Mickey D's. They here for it. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Okay, hey everybody, me again. Okay, summer is about fun. Summer is about making new friendships. Summer is about enrichment, right? And that is what my friends at the 4-H organization are doing, because they have a summertime enrichment camp. And I want you guys to check this out, because if you're a little person, right? Ages 6 to 10, that's what, first grade through 4th grade, 5th grade, getting ready for junior high, right? Middle school, as we call it here. Look at all of these life skills you are going to be able to do. It doesn't last all summer long. It's only like a couple days. Your parents are really going to be impressed with the skills you acquire, and 4-H is going to get you ready. I love it. They got STEM, they got chemistry, they have life skills. Wonderful work there by the 4-H group. Glow and Connect is another wonderful thing, and my friends at GTA are making this happen because they are getting young people ready for the next step, all right? The next leaders of our island, life after high school, right? After you graduate. I mean, I guess you could do this for like college-age kids too, right? But everything you need to know about the great beyond, about this world that we are passing to you, right? All the new responsibilities that you are going to inherit from us, the old people, and take upon yourselves. And we know you guys are going to do a great job because we believe in you. And thanks to our friends at GTA for making Glow and Connect happen. And then the free athlete workshop. You know, our athletes are really doing their thing over in Palau right now in Koror at the Pacific Mini Games. Lots of medals being won. We're up to like 9 now. But there is a free athlete workshop to let you know how you can be a high-performance athlete, get yourself ready to be recognized by college coaches, possibly play at the next level there, but also how to be mentally strong. Team KUAM is not just rock solid when it comes to playing in their events. They're also super, super focused and mentally tough and everything. And Coach Jessica Ball and Tisha Novello are going to get you to where you need to be. They're awesome. I'm going to actually interview them after this and everything because they're super awesome. So look for that tomorrow.
It's a great day to have a birthday, everybody, especially when it is 7/7. So happy birthday to Tavia Underwood from your Ninas and Gus. Tavia, we hope you have a fantastic day today. Sorry about the rain, but you know what? That doesn't mean it isn't an awesome birthday. Awesome birthdays are every single day. And happy birthday number 21 to Maya Gogui. Maya, we are wishing you all the best on your very special day. Your family made sure to let everybody in the community know how much they love you and how much they wish you are having a fantastic day today. So Tavia and Maya, we hope the both of you have wonderful, beautiful birthdays. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@KUAM.com.
That's the show, everybody. Let's all treat each other with love and respect. I'll see you tomorrow night.
This is the KUAM Podcast Network's Off the Record, where nothing is. In this episode, we sit down with former KUAM reporter and anchor Crystal Paco San Agustin, who shares how she made the leap from the newsroom to serving as the governor of Guam's Director of Communications. Crystal opens up about it all.
Hafa day, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Record. We are joined by a dynamic woman, and she is no stranger to our KUAM airwaves. I know you guys already know her already. She is a former news reporter, former anchor, news on-air personality, and now she is the Director of Communications at the Office of our Governor of Guam. Everybody, give it up for the one and only Crystal Paco San Agustin. Woo! And we have a crowd in here today, too. All ladies, I just have to add. So Crystal, thank you so much for taking the time. We know you are busy. We get emails from you every single day. We're blowing up your phone every day. Thank you for taking the time to come and speak with us. We really appreciate it.
Hafa day, Destiny, and it's great to be back. In fact, I was overwhelmed by nostalgia driving here because for all my formative years, all of my 20s, I worked here at KUAM. Yep. And like you said, I had a very, very successful career here. In fact, it was my launch point for where I'm at today. As first off, the press secretary for the Leon Guerrero Tenor administration, then ultimately where I am today is the Director of Communications. And now we're going on year 7 with Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, our first female governor, and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenor, our first openly gay lieutenant governor in the nation. So it has been a historic, administration, a lot of firsts. And when Lou and Josh called me, I couldn't say no. I mean, I loved my work here. Absolutely. I loved my work here at KUAM. It was so hard to leave. I cried on my last day because I couldn't imagine leaving here and the family that I built here, and also the people at home where I felt like I'd become a part of their family. I think TV was still very dominant in the years I was here from 2011 to 2019. TV was the dominant way people got their news, got their information, or they waited until next day's newspaper. And so, especially at 6 p.m., think about what you're doing at 6 p.m. at night.
Eating.
You're at home, you're cooking dinner,
family.
You're with your family, maybe the kids are starting on their homework. And so you're with these families, the people of Guam, at these really intimate moments, and you become part of their families. Mm-hmm. And I know you know this, Destiny, from your own experience, is that you become an influencer, you become part of their family because they know you from TV. I mean, I go everywhere still to this day and people recognize me from my time on TV.
They're like, KUAM.
Oh, you're the girl from KUAM. Like, I haven't worked there in almost 7 years. How old are you? But yes, KUAM was so important to my formative years and was the launch pad to where I am today. So grateful, so much love. I still look back here with so many fond memories.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how KUAM is evolving because I'm having to evolve too as the main messenger for the government, but seeing how the news outlets here on Guam are also evolving. Like, you're straying farther away from the TV product, but more on the digital product, digital media. Where do people get their news? Where do people get their information? That's the same thing with me as the Director of Communications and trying to figure out where are people getting their news. Okay, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on the websites. Gone are the days of the press release. I still do them, but now it's visually heavy, and that's why my team is stacked the way they are. I have a Deputy Comms Director, Dalen Pelletier, helps with all my social media. He doubles as a graphic videographer and a photographer as well. Excellent. And then I also have 2 videographers, Jose Castro and Anton Nata, and they help me produce these beautiful videos that you're seeing on Instagram, these reels that you're seeing. I also have a phenomenal graphic designer, Andrea Muro, who helps me push out that messaging and who helps me adapt the regular press release into something more bite-sized, tangible for the average person who's scrolling, who probably only has 4 seconds of attention span. And I think you and I have the same challenges, just different capacities. I'm just on the other side of the microphone this time.
Cutting through that noise, and how do we make sure that the people of Guam are getting their news from a credible source? Because there is so much, especially in this digital space.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Before we really dive into that, I really wanted to backtrack a little bit. You spoke a lot about your team currently, and I think that, you know, you've definitely left an indelible mark on the community, and I think that has a lot to do with the teamwork here, the foundation that was created at KUAM. So can you tell us, maybe for those out there who are curious, what did you learn here at KUAM that helped you with your job today?
Everything.
Period.
Absolutely. Period. Come apply here at KUAM if you're a graduating senior or you're a aspiring comms major at the University of Guam. I would absolutely recommend an internship. Get your hands, just get into the programs, get out there and on the job experience. I highly recommend internships, and anytime you can get an opportunity to work with the professionals in the field, do it. But reflecting on my time here at KUAM, oh my gosh. Networking, number one. Especially here on Guam, your network is your net worth. You know, especially on small island, it's who you know, how you get things done, you know, moving fast. And for me, as the director of communications, my job is not to know everything, but it's to know the people who know the answers, know the people that provide this service. And so a lot of the times my job is just connecting people. And that's my favorite part of my job. But back to what I learned at KUAM, it's networking, being able to interview strangers, being able to interview celebrities, being able to interview government officials, especially in crisis situations, going to the scene of the crime and trying to interview somebody who's just been impacted. You know, their lives have been changed in those few seconds that preceded your meeting with them. And so to be able to do that, that is so powerful. Being able to talk to strangers and to do interviews, ask questions, and write the meaningful stories. Because I think as a news reporter, we also have to talk about, you know, we have only like 30 seconds, 2 minutes to tell a story. What matters most? And don't hide your lead. Put the most important stuff right at the top. And I think that's something I learned too. I became a really, really good writer because of my time at KUAM. Really good copywriter, on-the-spot writer. It helped me to learn how to synthesize things very quickly. To sit through a court hearing that was an hour long, but be able to walk out right after and to do an on-camera interview or an on-camera stand-up, as we call it in the news, and to dissect, okay, so-and-so was just arrested, he appeared for this is the main story points. For more, log on to KUAM.com.
Right.
And that's like embedded in me, like accuracy, brevity, clarity. And this ABCs guides my life. ABC, as simple as accuracy, brevity, and clarity. And that's something that stuck with me today. So networking, the ability to synthesize and to write. And this was prior to AI and ChatGPT. And I think that's really going to change too, how the world absorbs information, because now we don't have to read everything. You can, you know, pop it onto ChatGPT or whatever AI device you're using, and it can synthesize for you. Gone are the days of note-taking. I love note-taking.
We love note-taking here.
I love note-taking, and it would be the scribbles in my notebook or on my cell phone. I'm an excellent note-taker, and because of that, I'm a great synthesizer, but, you know, gone are those days. And so we're going to see some changes in the next few years as more people become dependent on AI and AI to take our notes for us. You know, I was also a teacher at the University of Guam teaching communications, and kids don't take notes. You know what they do? They pull their cell phone and they take a picture. So life is going to be changed, and we're going to see those changes. People evolve about how they take in information. I learned how to, most importantly, multitask. I mean, Destiny, you know this from personal experience. On Fridays here at KUAM, most people don't know how many outfit changes.
So Monday on Friday.
Monday is your Friday. So for me, you know, we pre-record a lot of stuff here at KUAM. And that's because we need content throughout the weekend. And so you're trying to think about, okay, I'm wearing this outfit for this show. I'm wearing this outfit for Saturday, for Sunday, for Monday, etc. On top of doing the phone calls, doing the interviews, gathering the information. Do I need court documents? Do I need to check my emails? I still need to write my story. And then I still have to work with my photographer, my video editor to tell the story. Oh, and then I got to voice the story. And there's being able to juggle all of that. And my time at KUAM, I spent so much time. I think 80% of my time was spent on the field. You know, going out, driving, getting the story, right in your face. And I think COVID changed how news reporters actually attain their information, right? You guys don't have to show up anymore. We bring the story to you. But how you get information, I spend like 80% of my time as a KUAM news reporter on the field, and maybe the remaining time just on the desk. And we went through so many evolutions of the news desk too here at KUAM. The standing desk, the standing desk when they got rid of the news desk. That was a different thing.
You have to put on actual shoes.
I have to put on real shoes. I'm not wearing slippers anymore, but I learned so much, and I look back at my time at KUAM with so much fondness, great memories. And thanks for Facebook and Facebook memories. I'm always reminded what those key stories were for me. And looking back, I'm like, wow, I did that. But the ability again to network, to talk to strangers, to build who you know and the people you surround yourself with, the ability to synthesize, and then of course the ability to multitask. Those things are they're so impactful to the work I do today. But also being a performer, and Destiny, you two have the same thing with me, is a common thread for us, is we're performers, we're singers, we're musicians. I'm used to performing, but performing for a TV camera is very different from a live audience. With the live audience, I can get direct feedback. Am I doing well? Am I doing not well? You know, you get applause. That's the validation you need. You know, talking to a camera at end, a nauseating end without any feedback, that's so different.
Yeah.
And trying to make people feel like, you know, they can trust you, talking to them and showing them that you care, and building that empathy. And Destiny, you and I were talking a little bit before we started. How do we cut through the noise?
That part. How do we cut through the noise? That's like my question for you too. How do you, I guess, how has your experience here changed the way or impacted the way that you work with the media? Because you know both sides, you understand where we're coming from as media, asking you as a, you know, in that position.
My background as a news reporter has made me very successful as a news director and a government messenger. And it's because I relate. And that's exactly what you were alluding to. I relate because I know at the end of the day, Destiny Cruz also has a job to do. She has a 6 p.m. newscast to host. And I'm like, okay, guys, you know, if we don't have any information, tell them what we know, or help them manage their expectations. Because Destiny needs to know what her top story is going to be this evening. Or should she lead with another story? Should she go chase another story? That, or it also helps when we manage expectations when the directors, I'd always advise our directors, respond. Acknowledge that you've received the reporter's question. Don't leave them on red. Don't leave them hanging on to you're waiting for your call back. Be like, hey, I'm in a meeting right now. Can I call you back after? And give them a time frame in 1 hour, in 2 hours. Or if you text me your questions, I can work on this during the lunch break and I can have this for you by this time. Or hey, Destiny, what's your deadline? Because knowing that you have a deadline to meet also gives me a chance to, hey, maybe I just give you a holding statement. But hey, Destiny, how about we compromise that? Tomorrow, I'll give you an on-camera interview. And I think that's really helped me build greater rapport. And of course, you guys were my former colleagues working here at KUAM, and so many familiar faces that I have to now do interviews with or answer to. But building that rapport, and that's something I also teach my government public information officers. Build rapport with reporters because it's going to go a long way with the coverage. You know, help them help you. Because again, like at the end of the day, Destiny and KUAM still have to go live at 6 p.m. And now you have more demands with all your digital products. Now people don't wait for 6 p.m. If I want news, I want it now. And you, I know, also have that pressure to deliver it right now. You know, is there a car crash here? Is there something happening here? Is there a fire here? And so also teaching my government PIOs, my public affairs officers and PIOs, public information officers to, hey, you got a picture, give it to them. Give it to them. Give them the press release as soon as you can, or at least the basic talking points. Caption things when you can. If we help you do your jobs, you can do your job better. And then, of course, building their rapport. And obviously the best, helping us put our best face forward in everything that we do.
Definitely.
Summer's here, Guam. Get ready for sun-soaked days with Kmart. From beach gear to backyard barbecue essentials, Kmart has it all at prices that keep your wallet cool. Stock up on snacks and fun kids activities to keep them entertained. Kmart is Guam's one-stop shop for summer fun. Plus, military and frontline workers save more with our exclusive discounts every day. Shop now for your summer essentials at Kmart, the 24-hour superstore. Summer vibes, Kmart style.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist. Over 20 years of experience.
I also wanted to talk a lot about empathy, because, you know, when you were just talking about earlier, building that connection with sometimes people that we've never met. A lot of the time, actually, people that we've never met, but they have such a strong, you know, connection with you. What was, I guess, an experience that you had during your time at KUAM that really impacted you? Maybe someone shared that you brightened their day, or you really left a mark on them. Maybe something you can recall that really stood out to you.
I had so many stories that impacted my life, but I think one thing that really stands out, because I was literally ushering in social media for KUAM with Facebook Live, and I remember that year because it was the first case of clergy sex abuse, and the first victim on the steps of the Ganya Cathedral crying. 40-plus-year-old man, Mr. Roy Quintanilla. He came forward and he was basically saying that he had been a victim of clergy sex abuse. And groundbreaking, you know, your jaw's dropping, like, is this really happening? But to also be the person, like, with Facebook Live, now there's no editing. Everything, this is reality TV, be part of that. And then from number one to the hundreds of cases that would happen after. You know, Guam is predominantly Catholic. We were all impacted by this, by the clergy sex abuse cases. And of course, it changed leadership. We had Archbishop Michael Burns, you know, rest in peace. I was very close to him because of his time coming into Guam and trying to fix a broken church and reunite it and reunify it. And I really, really enjoyed my time covering that. You know, as tragic and as traumatic as those stories were, I think I connected to people the most because this was just like, wow, a wow moment. And actually, I was one of the people that I just used the phone book, the Google phone book, and I looked up Father Louis Brulliard. And that name might trigger some really bad memories from people. But I called him up, and he answered his phone and basically admitted that he, you know, inappropriately touched young boys back in the day. He admitted it to me. And I remember walking out of the voiceover room after that interview, which I had recorded, and I remember feeling like I was going to cry because I couldn't believe my ears. And so, you know, my time here at KUAM, so many meaningful, powerful stories. Another one that I was really famous for, I was at the scene of an active shooter at the Hagåtña precinct. I think that was a lot.
Yes, I was just told this story.
I was at the scene when the suspect was arrested for allegedly murdering his wife, shooting her. And I was there, and I'd stayed back a little bit after in my car, and I was sitting there on my phone, and I heard the bam. And my instinct was to pull out my cell phone and run towards the sounds. And, you know,
as a true
reporter would, like, follow the action. And I remember running right alongside police officers right from my car parking lot into the Hagåtña precinct. And it's not the Hagåtña precinct anymore, it's moved to Sanhanya, but it's in Hagåtña, and running in and capturing those moments, those first moments where the police officer said he shot himself. And I was just so shocked. And my photographer at the time, Joseph Termulo, he had already left the scene. So it's me, and I was texting my news director at the time, the now Senator Sabrina Salas-Matanani. I was like, Sabrina, Bree, the suspect just shot himself. And so through WhatsApp, I was able to send in the video that I just recorded on my phone. Joseph Termulo, my cameraman, came back, and I remember him having to, like, console me for a second. Like, Chris, you got to go on live. You're going on live right now. And he was, like, holding my shoulders, and he was trying to fix my face, trying to fix my near tears from coming out, trying to fix just gather yourself, you got this. And me making that live report. Like, those are some of the memories that will never leave me. And then, of course, there were some amazing, like, fun memories, too, here at KUAM. I was predominantly a crime reporter, so most people will remember me from reporting to the scene of the crime, to the suspect's first hearing, their magistrate hearing, their arraignment, the trial, sentencing, following those stories from start to finish. Wow, that was very empowering. But also the fun stuff. KUAM did, send me to Australia at the time. United Airlines had the direct flight to Cairns. Got to do some really cool stuff.
Yes.
Dive the Great Barrier Reef, whitewater rafting, do some really cool things to help promote, these connections. Again, building connections.
Yeah.
And I think the people of Guam want to know my favorite thing in the whole world to do is building connections. And it's either through the storytelling and the work I do at the Office of the Governor or through my music. Yeah. And Dustin, you can probably relate because, oh my goodness, nothing brings me more joy in life than connecting to people through music when you can bring strangers who don't speak the same language onto a dance floor because they just enjoy the music so much.
It's storytelling.
It's storytelling.
And I think that's such a beautiful thing, that storytelling is such a common thread woven throughout your life, is that you tell stories, whether it be through your role here at KUAM, now your role at the governor's office, and now your role also in the community. We also know that you are really engaged in community events.
Absolutely.
And I do see that connection. I also wanted to ask you a little bit more about, just to backtrack, you were talking about some really traumatizing things. And of course, as reporters, we are not the story, especially in those instances where you are taken aback by traumatic events like that. You have to wipe your tears and put that aside to tell the story. Especially as women, we feel very passionate about things. So to put those things to the side and do our job, it's truly amazing that we can do this. But just to hone in on that, how did you cope with those kinds of things? And what advice would you give to us as people who are now in your shoes?
Smiling dogs.
We love puppies. We love puppies.
There's a few, I literally was smiling dogs. And Joan, your now news director, can tell you that my wallpaper on my desk here at KUAM was like a smiling pug. So, you got it when I would feel really down because of the work we were doing and then the exposure we had, the repeated exposure. Reading court documents is no easy task.
Nope.
They're so descriptive, they leave nothing to the imagination, and you're thinking about the victims. And of course, we show so much empathy as women, especially. So smiling dogs was one of my coping mechanisms. Google searching smiling dogs, it was my wallpaper. Another thing, Joseph Termulo, he would take me to the pet shop. Even Jacob, one of the photographers, they would take me to, on the way back to the station if I was really, really down in the dumps and affected by a story. It'd be, take me to the pet shop so I could see the dogs.
I need the puppy therapy.
Perhaps, putting in a plug for a what is it, comfort dog here?
Comfort dog. We would love a
comfort dog here at KUAM, and maybe at the Office of the Governor as well.
Yeah.
But that was some of my coping mechanisms. But also, this is another coping mechanism I have today is music. Yeah. It's my outlet. It's how I don't go crazy because of the work and the excruciating stress that I'm through. Is that 3 times a week I'm still a performer. Yeah. I'm still making music. I'm making music and sharing my music with people I love and strangers. Because people I love, being like Patrick Palomo, an extraordinary piano player here on Guam. I get to play with him twice a week.
That's beautiful.
And then my husband also is in my band on Saturday nights. And so getting to make music and connect with people through music, that's one way I cope. But first my answer, of course, was smiling dogs.
That's the secret, guys. Smiling dogs. And Chris, like, you really are, like I said in the intro, you really are a dynamic woman. We can see that just today, like how we're talking about the fact that you are a musician, a storyteller outside of your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? And we know 9 to 5.
It's not 9 to 5.
Every hour, every second of the day, right? But why is it so important for you to, or actually, let me shift my question. How do you balance that? And why is it important to maintain your interests amidst all of this craziness? How do you do that, and why is that important to you?
I was just thinking about this today because I have a hard time setting boundaries. And I think that's what maybe Gen Z and younger generations kind of are better about. They have more defined work-life balance. And I'm kind of in the middle, right? I'm a millennial. And I don't really have an understanding of work-life balance. I will bring work into my my home. I don't turn off the computer at 5 on the dot. I leave when the work is done, or I bring it home with me. and then I finish there, or I wake up to it. And so I don't have the answer to that. I think that's something I'm still coping with and trying to struggle to balance. Like I said, I lean a lot on my music, and then my family and my husband, and then my friends. You know, especially as we get older, Destiny, it's going to be harder for us to keep friends because our lives, you know, the people you hung out with high school will have less in common with you today. And now I'm in my 30s, 35, I don't have children yet. That's another thing that's also helped me in my career, stay focused on my career, although, you know, babies is something in the near future, hopefully. But I struggle immensely with the work-life balance. You know, I'm very blessed again to be, you know, married and without kids, and to be healthy. Yes. That's another thing, to be healthy, to be able to do my job. And so speaking of health, that's probably where I also find reprieve is health. 2 years ago, I did a bodybuilding competition because, you know, why not? You know, we're one of those people. We were like,
let's just try.
We're chronic goal setters. Yep. And so 2 years ago, and it happened to align with the same year as Typhoon Mawar, I decided to go on a weight loss journey because I did not like what I felt like. I did not like what I was seeing in the mirror. So I did the Dr. D keto program, the Health Bistro program, and I was wildly successful. And then as I was losing weight, I was reminded, wait a minute, Crystal, after the beauty pageants, you watched your first bodybuilding show and you loved it. I loved it. I loved seeing these powerful, strong women who looked more like me. And because beauty pageants have a lot to do with your height, and I'm only, you know, a little over 5 feet, but bodybuilding competitions, you're scored in your height class. You know, I'm going to compete with people who are the same size as me, and so after that, you know, I did a bodybuilding competition, placed second in my bikini fitness, my class. Not bad, not bad for my first timer making my debut, and I'll definitely do it in a heartbeat again. It helped me realize that, you know, my health, taking care of myself, because if you don't take care of yourself first, then you can't take care of others. You can't do your job.
Yeah.
Win one championship, you're celebrated. Win twice, they call you a hero. 3 times, they say words like legend and dynasty. 4, 5, 6 titles, they'll say enough is enough. But when you've won it all 7 times, what's left to say? The trophy speaks for itself. Introducing the full lineup of Ram trucks. Ram, 7-time winner of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Guam's beauty is only surpassed by its hospitality. Please help protect it by not bringing any items that can have a harmful impact on the island. Remember, if it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
New training location confirmed. The Mariana Islands. Before and after training, you will identify and sanitize your tactical gear to prevent the spread of invasive species. If it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasives behind.
I'm so, again, glad that I'm surrounding myself with people who are competent and capable. Like my team at the Office of the Governor, phenomenal. You know, everyone knows their roles. I can set an assignment, I can give a deadline, and I can have the deliverable in my hand by that deadline. And so, you know, an exceptional team by my side, again, great family, and I have my health, and I care for it. I love spinning. I work out at Rocker Red, plugging all the places I go to.
She said you guys are going to be healthy.
Healthy, because there's nothing crazier than dancing on a bike that doesn't go anywhere for 45 minutes. But that's, you know, I love it. I love it. The excitement, the adrenaline, because bodybuilding left me so lonely. It was such a lonely experience because now you're not eating with your friends. Now you're not hanging out with your friends. So much of your hangouts and the events here on Guam revolve around food, so you're not doing that. And so I'm on the Stairmaster for 1 hour in the morning and then 1 hour in the evening, and I'm bored out of my mind, but I have to do it because I need to drop more weight for the show. And then afterwards, it was really what helped me discover I love group fitness because of the camaraderie and the support you get, because energy creates energy, right? So it's 5 a.m. and I'm on my spin bike, but the girl next to me and the girl to my left and my right, we're all bringing it because we know that together we're going to finish this class.
Yeah.
So health is wealth, but also it helps a lot when you have partners and people to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
So bodybuilding competition, I had my team at Dr. D's clinic to help me out with that training and all the eating. They prepped the meals. All I had to do was eat and train. Also had my brother as my support. He was also a bodybuilding competitor in the past, and so he supported me. My husband, who was down to not eat with me or watch me suffer and go through all the mood swings. And then my team at the office, all of them bringing their best talents, their A game 24/7. So there's so many wonderful people I can lean on, and that's how I'm able to cope with not having this work-life balance, is because I surround myself with people who are going to help uplift me the same way I uplift them.
Team. I think that's the word
theme,
for
yeah.
today.
Okay,
It's team. And I just want to say, I know we're running out of time, but I just really want to make sure that we talk about this because it even makes me emotional to think about it. I think it was like maybe 7 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm bad at math. It's almost 10 years.
Girl math.
I'm a words person, everybody. Not so great at math. But anyways, it's so full circle to be here interviewing you today. And I thought a lot about what I was going to ask you because, again, a couple years ago, Crystal was the first person to interview me after Miss World. And she was doing a segment called Cruising with KUAM. And number one, I was starstruck because I grew up watching you. And she also came to talk to us during the pageant about, you know, how to conduct ourselves during this journey, how to be professional.
Public speaking.
Exactly. And who knew that all those years ago, I was literally like learning from you. And I never in a million years thought that I would be on the other end asking you questions. So I just have to really make that note that this is like so full circle for me. And it's like, it's such an honor to talk to you and to learn from you, most especially because I need to give you your flowers too, girl. Like you really did, whether you knew it or not, you were opening doors for women like me, for women like Mitsuki, Nevaeh, who are here now, following in all of these amazing women who have come through KUAM and really set a standard for us to follow. So yeah, I just wanted to give you your flowers. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you, what's one piece of advice that you can give for us and for future women walking through these doors here at KUAM?
Wow, I'm like speechless. Yeah. I never really thought about being a girl. It never affected how I approached the project. Being a girl didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, I could compete, I can do just as hard work, all the hard work that the boys could do. I could work the hours, I could execute, I could have just as good ideas. So I never let my gender dictate my ability to execute the work. And so that's my advice to women, any woman in, you know, I have my intern here with me and she's also a girl. I have all female interns this summer and it's just do the work and show your worth and take the space. And that's also what I'm learning in my 30s. I'm 35 years old, taking the space because I belong here. I think a lot of women go through imposter syndrome.
Oh, 100%.
And I felt that for the greater part of the first part of my career at KUM and then here at the Leon Reyes Administration. Is like, how am I here? Do I belong here? Are they delusional? I don't belong here. I don't have the credibility to be here. But yes, you belong here. Make the space. Do the work. Don't ever let your gender dictate your ability to execute the work and perform. I love that. I never thought about that question, but wow, I'm starstruck. I am also starstruck by you, Destiny, and how far you and the ladies have come. I'm always excited to see how media evolves because, again, how we process information as a public, it's changing. Definitely. And so we've got our work cut out for us, both of us, on either side of the microphone. But thank you for this opportunity. And again, if you're a girl, if you're not a girl, don't let that ever affect your ability to power through and do the work.
There we go.
Take the space.
Take up space. We're taking up space and defying gravity. Right? We're defying gravity, guys.
She would.
But thank you again, everybody, the one and only Crystal, Paco, and Augustine. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's give a round of applause, ladies. Woo!
Thank you for having me. It's great to be back here at my old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Off the Record is part of the KUAM Podcast Network. Watch more episodes on the KUAM News YouTube channel and listen on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.